this is my third standout is do informational interviews. Learn from the people that are working the jobs that you want or that are in the companies you want to be in. They might be able to help you on the back end. They might be able to give you tips that, I will never know. So absolutely reach out to other professionals and ask for advice, ask about their career path, learn from them, and see where that can go.
Hey friends, welcome to Public Health Careers. I'm Omari Richards, founder of the Public Health Millennial and host of Public Health Careers. Join us as we dive deep into public health topics and career journeys. You'll hear diverse career stories, absorb professional development and career strategies to help you learn, navigate, and transform your public health journey. On today's episode, we have Katherine Brumfield. Katherine is Manager of Career Services at Colorado School of Public Health. She is a compassionate, strengths-based career coach. She supported hundreds of public health students and professionals in building meaningful careers through compassionate coaching, strengths-based advising, and strategic professional development. She earned her Bachelor of Arts in Psychology from Stetson University and a Master of Arts in Mental Health Counseling from Regis University. With a background in counseling and a passion for helping others thrive, Katherine is committed to empowering students to own their career journeys with clarity and confidence. In today's episode, you'll hear and learn more about high-level insights to make your resume better and stand out from a career coach, how the job search process is challenging but can be navigated successfully with the right mindset, having confidence and self-awareness, why you need to forget about job titles when searching for public health roles, the importance of balancing work with personal life goals because you are more than your job, and how learning from failures is part of your career journey, and much, much more. Be sure to hit that subscribe button and enjoy today's episode.
Hi, everyone. My name is Katherine Brumfield. I am the Manager of Career Services at the Colorado School of Public Health, and you are listening to Public Health Careers.
Katherine, this is the most timely time to talk to you, so I'm excited to get into this conversation and hear some of your insights as well as learn more about your journey.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
It truly is my pleasure. And to jump into things, how do you identify and tell us a little about your personal background?
Yeah, so I go by the pronoun she, her, and I identify as an elder millennial mom, coach, magician, whatever. Basically, I can change depending on the day, but yeah, I've been doing career coaching for a while and it's just become part of me. And
Okay, I'll definitely have some questions to ask on that. So are you actually a magician?
I mean, a student has called me a magician once.
Okay.
So I add it to my resume. No, I'm just kidding. I don't. I wish.
Maybe career magician.
Yeah. At one point, I like to say I was a career matchmaker, but magician sounds more fun. So I think I'll go with that.
Yeah, I like that too. That too. And then considering that you've had many, many years of career coaching, would love to hear your insights on some of these questions before we dig into your career story.
Yeah.
So you describe yourself as a certified strengths finder coach. What does a strengths-based approach to career development look like in practice?
Yeah. So I was certified in Strengths Finder, probably 5 years ago. And that's a week-long certification and allows you to administer the Gallup Strengths Finder assessment. And I just really fell in love with the idea of helping people identify what they're good at and leaning into that and how they can use that in their job search, in their life, in their career, just really embody who they are. And bring that through their career. Strengths Finder, it never is going to tell you anything you don't already know about yourself, but it gives you that language of like, yes, I am good at these things, because it is not common for us to sit there and say, I'm really good at this, or I'm really good at that. And sometimes we just do it. It's just automatic. And I think Strengths Finder really helps people with providing that language of, yes, I am good at these things. I didn't realize it, or I didn't know how to express it or talk about it. and then allows them to reflect. And how have I used these strengths in the past? And how can I use them going forward? Because I believe if you know what you're good at and continue to be good at those things, you are going to have a more successful career path and you're going to make better career decisions. You're going to be able to look at other people and see their strengths and how you can work together. So yeah, I really love helping people identify those and then having them reflect on them and then really embodying them throughout their career.
That's good to hear because I feel like
Yeah.
too often I hear from maybe students more of like a deficit mindset and like, oh, I don't
Yes.
have this or I don't have that. So like
Mm-hmm.
really reframing to say like,
Yes.
here's actually the strengths that I do have and here are
Yeah.
how I can really like elevate those strengths that I already have.
Exactly. And what I love about doing the strengths-based approach too is we're not saying you don't have something or you're lacking something. You're saying you can do everything. It's just there's certain things that you actually really enjoy doing and you're really good at. So why not do more of that? Don't focus on trying to be better at things you don't enjoy. And look for tools or people around you to help you with those things that you don't enjoy and are just not really, things you want to do.
What role does confidence and self-awareness play in successful job search, especially for students entering the public health workforce?
Yeah, I love this question because I'm all about self-awareness and confidence building. Um, Oddly enough, a lot of people talk themselves out of applying for jobs. I know this sounds weird,
Mhm.
but I have heard it so many times where students or alumni or even friends will come to me and be like, "Do you think I should apply for this?" Or "I don't know. I don't feel like I can do this." And I'm like, "You cannot be considered unless you try. You have to apply. You never know where your career might go. You have to knock on all the doors and see which one opens." So I think a lot of that confidence comes with being able to be open to possibilities, being confident enough to say, I can do this. And I'm not supposed to know how to do every single thing or have every single skill. But there's something that's interesting to me here. So let's learn more. Let's apply. Let's learn more. And same when you're going into an interview or the first day on your job. You're not supposed to know everything. You're human. You are not a robot. And being yourself and being confident in your abilities and the things that you might need help learning is going to help you answer interview questions. It's going to help you in your job as you grow as a professional. Yeah, so I think that confidence piece I think is really important. And I think a lot of times just helping people identify with their achievements. So a lot of times I ask people, what are you most proud of? I don't want to know what you want to do when you get older or, what job title you want. I want to know what you're most proud of and build on that. And I do feel like that can really help with that self-awareness and confidence. I also think we need to reflect a lot throughout our career and reflect on things like, what's coming up for me? Why am I pushing this task off? Or why am I not wanting to do this? Really looking at what it is, or why am I drawn to this? Or, what is coming up for me? How do I get things done at work? I mean, who shows up to work, right? Like we kind of have these different personas or different titles, right? Like mom, friend, wife, partner, whatever. But whatever your job title is or however you identify in your job, you have this person that shows up to work. And I think reflecting on how you show up to work, how you get things done, how you like to work is really important for the success in your career, and helping you identify those keywords in job descriptions. So, okay, I really like working with people. So I should find jobs that say collaboration or teamwork. And also knowing the right work environment for you. Like, I know I can't sit behind a desk all day. I need to be interacting with people. So making sure you're asking some really good targeted questions throughout your interviews to align with what you like, what you enjoy, and how you like to work.
Yeah, a lot of key things you highlighted there. Definitely
Yeah,
always apply. Let people tell you no. Don't ever let yourself be the one that gets you like no opportunity. You know, like always go after the
exactly.
opportunity. Because
Yeah.
and I think like within that you build confidence and like
Yeah.
knowing like your world does not end if you don't get this job or get that
Oh,
interview and things like that. Like things go on, and yeah,
exactly.
and the
Yeah. And
other.
like, oh no, go
No,
ahead.
you go
Sorry.
ahead. You go ahead. It's your interview.
No. Well, I was just gonna say, like, one thing I like to always do too is really like acknowledge the interview process, and that when you apply for a job, you're just saying, I'm interested in learning more. It doesn't mean you're going to get the job. It doesn't mean you want the job. You don't really know if you want a job till it's offered to you. So understanding that the application phase is just saying, I'm interested in learning more. I'm interested to seeing if this is a good fit. The interview phase is more of that. Like, are we a good fit? Is this a good match? When you're interviewing, it's a conversation between you and the job. It's not you and the people, it's you and the job. Are we a good fit? And then once you get that offer, that's when you can really evaluate, do I want this job? Is this a position I want to dedicate my time to? So I like people to kind of step back and like, don't, move into the job. Don't throw all your eggs in one basket, or don't, you don't have the job. So just understand that we're in that exploration phase. We're trying to learn more, and you can't be considered unless you apply.
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of like lowering the stakes around
Yeah,
the application and all of that. And I
exactly.
also wanted to raise up that like it took me a year to 2 years to kind of understand in the job that I current my 9 to 5 role that I have outside of public health millennial to kind of really get familiar and understanding.
Oh
So
yeah.
just letting you'll know that, as well as I was fully underqualified for the role. It asked for 5 years of experience, and I applied with like 14 months post MPH experience. So you never know. So
You never know. You never know. Yeah, that's a great story.
how do you help students move from feeling stuck to feeling empowered and capable in their job search?
I think I like to acknowledge that the job search process is not fun. I've never had one person say, I just love searching for a job. Like, this is not fun for anyone. Um, but we have to do it, right? It's just what we have to do. And so I try to look for their strengths, their individual career path, and their goals, and try to help people. I like create a job search strategy that doesn't feel so awful. So that could be like, okay, if you're the networking type, like if you're the type of person that loves to be out and about and talking to people, then do that. Focus your job search on that. You might have to do some like LinkedIn or job searching online, but the majority should be what you enjoy. Or if you're like, I don't have time, I work, I have a family, I have a life, I just don't have time to go to all these events and network with people, then don't worry about that. Then focus on incorporating a job search strategy into your life, however that looks. Um, but anything that I can help people where they can identify, like, here's what I'm good at, and here's how I can incorporate that into my job search to keep me going. Because that's the tough part, is keeping that momentum and that consistency. And also making it fun, which again, it's not fun. So I tell people, make your environment fun then. Go to a coffee shop like once a week. That is your job search time. Or go to a library if you just need to get out of wherever. Or if you have a friend that's job searching, invite them over, tell them to bring their laptop, like job search together. Listen to your favorite podcast, listen to your favorite music. make your environment fun, but also make sure that you're incorporating that into your life, because that getting stuck is so easy to do. And so, I mean, it's like you're in mud, like you just can't, you're like, what am I going to do? I'm going to sit down at my computer and then where am I going to go to look for jobs, and it can be very, very frustrating. And I think having the right mindset when you're job searching will allow you to see opportunities, will allow you to click on job titles and companies that maybe you've never heard of, and it will allow for that curiosity. But if you're feeling stuck, either walk away and do not job search right now and give yourself a breather, or reflect on what would make this better. If it's going somewhere, if it's talking, just switching up the style of job searching you're doing, whatever it might be. But yeah, I think it's so important that you're in the right headspace when you're job searching. So, and so many people can get stuck in that like, I'm never going to find a job, or negative self-talk. It's very, very easy to, especially with a lot of, these automatic replies of, you didn't meet the minimum qualifications or whatever it may be. So rejection fatigue is a thing in job search for sure. But acknowledge it and move on.
You've supported hundreds of public health students and alumni in their career journeys. What do you find are the most common challenges public health students face in launching their careers?
I love this question, because it is focusing on job titles and focusing on the buzzwords, because public health jobs are hidden throughout. I mean, I can't tell you this is the job title you're going to go get. Like, I have no idea. It could be program manager. It could be something coordinator. It could be something specialist. I have no idea what it will be. I also think a challenge that public health professionals have too can be focusing too much on one public health topic and not being open to exploring other topics, because you're using the same skills, and being that flexible and adaptable with the topic area and maybe population you want to work with can really open a lot of more opportunities for you. I mean, it's funny because I'll have like a student that starts their master's program. They're like, I want to, work in diabetes research. Okay, cool. Like that, let's do that. And then I'll meet them like 2 years after they graduate and they're like, yeah, I don't work in diabetes research at all, but I absolutely love what I'm doing. So I think just, it's okay to have like, a plan or a path, but be open to other public health topics, and don't focus on job titles. And I think then you'll have a much more successful career journey or job search, the more open and adaptable you are.
Absolutely. I didn't even know the job title for the job that I'm in existed when I graduated from my Master's of Public Health. So
Exactly.
yeah. And I think, like, to your other point, it's like, it's so important to build the skills that can be used in whatever topic area. And maybe you do have an interest in a specific topic area, but there's maybe an oversaturation in those jobs
Exactly.
in the point in time. So you just build the skills and then come back to the topic area later on if you need to.
Yes, totally. Absolutely. It's going to change, public health, it depending on, what is being funded and what is, a hot topic. Obviously a few years ago, everyone was working in COVID. That's just where the jobs were. So I think it's, always have, if you do have an idea, but if you don't, it's okay. It's okay.
How can students stand out in a competitive job market, especially when applying to public health roles across sectors?
Yeah, I think that the best way to stand out is to quantify your impact. Use data. use your competencies from your courses. You all know how to do so many skills. So really educate the employer on what you know how to do and how you've used that skill to create change, to create an impact. Anytime you can bring in data or numbers or even if it's like created programs or evaluated programs, I think talk about that impact. A lot of times what I see on resumes or interview preparation is really just talking about that they know how to do these things, but not how they've done them and how it has made a difference for a population. I also think standing out in the job market is all about tailoring, right? So if you're not familiar, applicant tracking systems are everywhere, and most companies use these. So making sure that you are not sending out the same resume and cover letter for every job, making sure you're really tailoring for that job. You're really highlighting the things that they're looking for. When people write job descriptions, they've told you everything they need you to know. So as long as you are completely understanding how your skills and experience fit that job and what they're looking for, and then translate that to your professional documents and application, you should be able to get through the system. And another thing I see people do is they underqualify themselves. So sometimes applications online will have these, I call them knockout questions, where it'll be like, are you proficient in SAS? And you might say, well, I've used it once or I learned it, but I don't know if I'd say I'm proficient. I'm like, say you're proficient. I mean, compared to someone who's never seen it, you're proficient. So don't ever undersell yourself in an application. Also, and this is my third standout, is do informational interviews. Learn from the people that are working the jobs that you want or that are in the companies you want to be in. They might be able to help you on the back end. They might be able to give you tips that, I will never know. So absolutely reach out to other professionals and ask for advice, ask about their career path, learn from them, and see where that can go.
You emphasize the importance of professional branding in your work as well. What are some key elements of building a personal brand in public health?
I think it's just being yourself, right? People don't typically go into public health because they just thought it would be fun. Like, they usually, when I talk to people, they're like, I didn't know it existed. And then, I took a class in undergrad that mentioned it and this was perfect. Or I'll talk to people and they'll say, well, I thought I wanted to go to med school, but this is actually really what I want to do. So I think really finding what is it that brings you to public health and what is your why? Why do you want to do this work? Public health can be difficult in terms of dealing with sensitive information, and the work can be hard, but it's very, very, very rewarding. And being able to impact change on a community-wide or nationwide or worldwide is amazing. I mean, the work public health professionals do, I think, is just absolutely amazing. I always tell people what I do is I help people get jobs that save the world, because it is exactly what you all do. So I think, really focusing on who you are and your why, and don't try to know everything. Be open, and your personal brand really is just your uniqueness. What is your uniqueness? We're all different, and that's the best part about this. What is it that brought you here? Was there something you experienced? Was there something you saw? Was there something that changed for you. And if not, that's okay too. And just, we're all in public health for a reason. So I just think, really own that and yeah, just be yourself. I really just want people to be who they are and know that you don't need a perfect elevator pitch. You don't need a perfect, again, we're not robots. Like, just be curious, ask people questions, learn from others. And you have a lot to provide too. So don't hold back, make sure that you're speaking up and yeah, and I think you can create your professional brand however you want. I live on LinkedIn, so that's really where I focus my professional branding, but others might live on a different social media site or want to, just have their professional brand more tailored towards their career and focus on, when they are networking or at conferences. But this work is really meaningful work. So I think just own whatever it means for you.
And I didn't put this question in the outline, but it's a question I ask everyone. What does public health mean to you?
Public health means everything to me. I mean, I love public health. And if you would have told me that 10 years ago, I would have been like, what is that? When I interviewed for this job, I was like, oh gosh, I better research, what is public health? I still was a little confused, I'll be honest. And once it probably took me a good 2 years to really learn about all the different public health career paths, but it affects our day to day. I mean, the reason we wear seatbelts was a public health initiative. The reason why people don't smoke in restaurants anymore was a public health initiative. So I think a lot of public health is so behind the scenes that we don't think about it very much, but it impacts our lives, our day to day, and it has already and will continue to save lives. And I think that is the magic of public health. It does feel like magic sometimes because people don't always know what public health professionals do. And I'm like, well, you have clean water, you have a seatbelt, So public health is everything and is everywhere. I love it. Being able to be part of it feels very, very rewarding. And I don't ever want to work in any other field. I love public health.
Well, appreciate that, and would love to learn like the dig in on how you learn more about like career coaching and specific public health. But before we get to that, you began your academic journey with getting a Bachelor of Arts in psychology at Stetson University.
Mm-hmm.
What led you to pursue psychology, and what did you take away from your undergrad experience?
I had no idea what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. I was 18 when I started college. I had no earthly idea what my passions were, what I wanted to do for a career. Stetson's a small school, so your options in terms of degree path is very limited, but I changed my major 3 times. And then finally, I was like, okay, which class did I enjoy the most? And it was psychology. I liked sociology too, but I was like, well, I'll just do psychology. So I just picked it because that class, the intro class, was interesting. I really like people. I like to get to know people. I love to hear people's stories. I love that we're all different, and that just made sense to me. So that is how I ended up with a degree in psychology.
Well, I appreciate that. And then you went on to get a Master's of Arts in Mental Health Counseling from Regis University. Why did you choose to study mental health counseling?
Yeah, so let's see, it was like 5 years in between my bachelor's and master's degree where I was really trying to find myself in terms of career. I had no idea still. I had this bachelor's in psychology, but I did graduate in 2008. So the job market was a little tough. And I kind of tried different jobs, and I kept coming back to, I just really like talking to people. I really like people. I like talking to people. I get my energy there. I'm good at it. It comes easy to me. How can I turn this into a job? So I was like, all right, counseling, it is. So I applied to Regis University in Denver, got in. And that's a 2-year program. It was at night, so I was working during the day. But I didn't really know what it meant to be a mental health therapist. And I kind of struggled to figure out what I liked. And I felt like everyone else knew, and I was the only one that was like, oh, I don't know, like, what I want to do with this degree. And then I thought, of course, I made a huge mistake. And thankfully, we had a career counseling class, and it clicked. And I was head over heels in love with career counseling. I would have never have guessed that applying to the program. And yeah, I ended up doing my practicum and capstone in career counseling, and off we went. So mental health counseling was the original plan. I think what I wanted to do originally was have a private practice and have clients. And I did try that after I graduated, but it's very lonely in private practice. And I was missing that connection with people, and I was missing like being on a team. So yeah, I was like, nope, it's not for me. And I'm going to pursue career counseling at a university. And I love being on universities. The energy on universities are so fun. Yeah.
So, considering you went into your master's degree with this mental health counseling lens that you were thinking of doing it, and then coming across career counseling and that really sparking your interest, how did the mental health counseling skills or perspective influence the way that you do career coaching?
Yeah. I love my mental health counseling training because it trained me to listen. It trained me to help others answer their own questions by reflecting on what I'm hearing, allowing them space if they're feeling emotional. The job like process or career development can be stressful. And, especially when you're dealing with, I don't know what I want to do. I feel all this pressure to have it all figured out, or, the job search process, or whatever emotions can come up throughout your career development. So I think my training has really helped me provide that space for people to cry, to acknowledge what they're going through, and reflect and help them move forward. So, I am really proud of my mental health training because I do use it quite a bit, and I think it does help me be a better career coach. So yeah, I think everything that a counselor does, I do probably daily with people, and I really like the person-centered approach, where I don't think career services is a one-size-fits-all. I don't think advice that one person works for, it's going to work for the other. So really understanding and getting to know the person, and getting to know their unique strengths and their unique challenges, and helping them, guiding through that to hopefully success in their career search.
And you had a role as a career counselor intern at the Metropolitan State University of Denver. What was your experience like there supporting students?
I love MSU Denver. MSU Denver is right downtown Denver, on the Auraria campus, and I was interning there first, for 2 semesters, I believe, and then they hired me on to work with their alumni, part-time after that. The fun thing about Metro is that you get all majors, all different types of people. We get, it was so fun meeting with so many, people that were either returning to school or, fresh out of high school. So lots of different career paths, lots of different majors, lots of different interests. So you can be really creative when you're working with folks, and no appointment's the same. Like, I wasn't focused on one career path or one industry. So it was really fun to learn about all the different ones. Yeah, it was. Metro is a great university, and I really loved helping people in all different aspects of their life and wherever, and meeting them where they're at, because not one person, not two people are the same or have the same career goals. And yeah, it was just really fun to, have all different types of career paths. And I also had I worked with other people in a career center. So that is nice too, where now I'm a team of 1.5.
Understood.
Yeah.
And how did this really roll into career counseling serve to give you maybe some more deeper value around empathy and personalized coaching?
Yeah, I think our careers really for some people really define who they are and their self-worth. And I've seen so many people, really attach themselves to their careers. And so I think if you can help see that in others, help empathize with how emotional this can be, especially if there's any type of like someone being let go or having to quit a job is really emotional. And even accepting a job, right? Like, there's so much emotion that comes into all of this, that I think being empathetic and encouraging, and also normalizing whatever feelings come up, because we've all been there. And I think it's nice to be able to kind of empathize and bond, and even share my own personal stories with folks, to help them get through whatever situation. But to me, empathy is just everywhere. I'm always gonna lead with empathy.
Right. And I can imagine with your mental health counseling background as well, how that has positioned you to really lead with that as well.
For sure. I always tell people too, I feel like when I help you job search and apply for a job, that I'm like gonna get the job. So when you email me and say you got the job, I'm just as excited as you. Like, I love when people email me and they're like, "You're the second person I've told that I got this job." I'm like, "Really? That's so exciting."
That's awesome. Well, I hope that you continue to have many, many more of those emails and success stories coming.
Yes.
And then maybe for the audience, public health students, early career professionals that are listening, you spoke about your journey of like getting the mental health counseling, then going into private practice, and then realizing like this wasn't for me, and then shifting out of that. So maybe walk us through that process.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we all have to try stuff out. You've got to try it out, and just, if you fail, you'll be fine. Just fail fast, like I didn't try to drag out my private practice. I didn't try to make it work. Like, I identified this is not working and why it wasn't working for me. and stopped it right away. You know, like I think you have to fail fast. I think you've got to try out everything, see what works, see what doesn't. But if you don't try, you'll never know. And you know, there's an exercise that I do with students. It's called the value card sort, where you identify your top 5 values going through cards. So you'll, you know, first you'll go through the deck of cards, you value, you don't value. Then you remove the I don't value set, and then you take the value set and do that process again. So you try to narrow it down as much as you can to get to your top 5, and then ranking those in 1 to 5. 1 meaning must, like top value. And then look to see if there's anything out of alignment. I did that to myself during the process of figuring out if I wanted to get out of private practice. And one of the top values I had was stability. And I didn't really have stability in a private practice because sometimes you have clients, sometimes you don't. And I really needed that stability, and I didn't know that until I didn't have it. So once you can kind of just realize, like, okay, these things are not in alignment for myself, make a change.
And that kind of goes back to the importance of self-awareness and self-reflection. And I think
Yeah.
we devalue those things a lot, but I think it is core to a lot of our joy and fulfillment in many ways.
Absolutely.
And you began your career at Colorado School of Public Health as a career services senior specialist. You are now a manager.
Yeah.
Tell us about coming into that role and the growth that you have seen in that role.
Yeah. I started out almost 9 years ago at the Colorado School of Public Health. And when I started, I was doing half career services and then half with advising for practicum. And then I rolled into just career services. Maybe a year or two later, I was doing all career services and then grew into that position as a manager. I absolutely love the Colorado School of Public Health. And like I said, I'm a team of 1.5. So it's me, and then I have my coworker who does half career services and half practicum. And it's been so fun to be able to try new things and to experiment with what's working, what doesn't work. And now that I've been in the school for so long, I have a good understanding of what is helpful and changing as it goes too, because, you know, the way we apply for jobs changes, the way, you know, jobs change. But yeah, my position is under the student affairs, the Office of Student and Academic Affairs. So I get to be on that team, which is really fun too. So I have the team of folks that are doing admissions and, you know, student engagement. And then I've also been able to really go out and represent the school at different conferences like APHA. And I've really enjoyed being part of the school. And now I feel like I'm the career person at the Colorado School of Public Health. And it's really fun to be out at conferences and alumni walk up to me and say, I don't know if you remember me, but you helped me get the job I have. And it's just so awesome. And I've been able to get really involved with our public health association, the Colorado Public Health Association, and build relationships with that organization. And I oversaw their mentoring program when I first started out. And then it kind of evolved from there to now they have a leadership team. And I've just really dove deep into public health in Colorado and have really enjoyed everything our school has built and the research that they put out and the leadership our school has is absolutely amazing. The Anschutz Medical Campus is so beautiful and so historic. Like sometimes I would just walk into the building and be like, it's an old hospital, so there's like marble and it's just really, really cool. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the School of Public Health. Oh, and another unique thing about our schools, we're on 3 different campuses. So I got to travel to the University of Northern Colorado and see our students there, and the Colorado State University in Fort Collins. So it's a fun collaborative environment. We're the only school in the Rocky Mountain region. So yeah, it's just been really, really fun growing my career with the school and with the public health community in Colorado.
And you shared that you initially didn't know what public health was, and then you got into this career coaching, career services role in public health. What was that journey like for you to learn more about the public health field and be able to guide students effectively?
I actually think it was a huge plus that I didn't know public health because I got to research it. And the way I researched it was meeting with public health professionals. So I would reach out to alumni and set up coffee meetings to learn about their career path. I would set up meetings with students just to learn about what are they interested in, why, what brought them here. So I really took probably a solid 2.5 years to research public health careers and learning from the people that are wanting to do the work and the people that are doing the work. Because I enjoy learning from people, that was the best way I could go about learning about public health careers. Of course I did some Google searches and looked at, some resources, but that didn't really help me understand it. And then I started interviewing alumni on their career path and made a YouTube series called Coffee and Careers. And I learned so much from all the alumni that I got to interview with. And yeah, I think it just takes time, I don't think anyone can be like, I know all of the careers in public health. I still am learning, it's gonna change. But I think just always, and plugging into the associations is helpful too. The APHA and the Colorado Public Health Association, whatever state chapter you have, I think plugging into those and going to conferences, but learning as much as you can about public health and the work that people are doing.
And what does your role as a manager of career services involve on a day-to-day basis?
Yeah, day to day, I have meetings usually. I'll have maybe on average 3 meetings, and that can be with students or alumni. Managing our career board, we use Handshake, so always logging in there and updating or approving any jobs. And then a lot of program planning, a lot of webinar planning, a lot of hosting and giving webinars, a lot of event planning, a lot of emailing back and forth, lots of resume reviews. But I would say not every day is the same. But I always kind of have a running list of projects I'm working on, whether that's updating resources or projects that I want to start and who I should reach out to. I have been known to be a bit annoying in terms of I have an idea and I'm just going to blast it out to everyone I know and see what happens. I also join a lot of committees. So I am actively involved in the ASPPH Career Assembly Group. And I also oversee our school's awards committee, and I am involved in the leadership team for our staff and PRA council committee. I also joined forces with other career professionals on the Anschutz Medical Campus, and we meet once a month and try to strategize on how we can improve career services for the campus. because our CU Anschutz doesn't have a centralized career services. And there's a few individuals on different schools on the medical campus that do career advising. So we all come together and try to figure out how we can help the community and the campus as a whole. Like I have a couple meetings this week about that. So yeah, I'm at a place where I'm just not afraid to reach out to people. I'm not afraid to start something new, but I do tend to overdo it. And then I'm like, oh, Katie, you should probably back up and pick one thing here. But I just get excited, and I love that career services changes. I love that there's, new tools and resources coming out, and I just want to stay up to date with it. I want to continue to grow as career guidance grows and career, finding jobs and the way jobs look, and all of that changes.
And in your experience, what types of programs or support do you find public health students value the most?
Yeah, I think any type of networking opportunity is hugely beneficial. For the last, since I've been here, I would say that a big piece of what I find to be super helpful for public health professionals is providing funding to attend conferences and making opportunities or allowing opportunities for students to go to these professional development conferences, because you learn so much and the networking opportunities are amazing. And then getting involved in whatever it may be. Our students get a free membership to the Colorado Public Health Association. So I really try to help connect that group with our students. And then I offer 2 webinars a month on different career-related topics. And I would say, though, my 2 most popular things that I do, well, 3. One is headshots, free headshots, because everyone needs a good headshot and it's hard to get. 2 would be our career practicum fair. We have that once a year at the end of February. And then 3rd would be my job search group. So I am actually currently running, this week starts my May job search group, and I had over 60 people register. So I ended up offering 2 time slots, and that's a group that we meet once a week for 4 weeks, and I help people develop a job search strategy that works for them. But I think what is great about that group is it gives people a space to connect with one another, and you don't feel so alone in the job search process. So I would say those are my most popular. And then one-on-one meetings, a lot of resume and interview preparation, and connecting people. I think connecting people to alumni, because I have built so many relationships along the years, I'm always happy to connect our students with alumni. And I think that's also a really good benefit and service that, a lot of our students take advantage of, and we should. Like, I was sending email introductions this morning.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah.
What's the biggest mistake you see on resumes typically?
Ooh, I like this one. Typically, oh gosh, I see a lot of mistakes. Sorry, everyone. I'm always like, please don't hate me, but we got to redo this. Number 1's formatting. So a lot of people think if it looks pretty, then it must work, and that's not true. It needs to be able to scan, and I care more about the content. So yeah, if you have some type of like funky formatting or like boxes, I don't know. Sometimes I see these weird, like, I'm like, whoa, I'm having a hard time figuring out where to read. Please don't do that for public health. Just standard resume format, a Word document. I prefer not using any type of format and just creating a Word document. and the content. So I would say content is huge for me, and huge thing I see people not really identifying their achievements. So I see a lot of skills, right? Like program planning and evaluation or data analysis, or just very skill based, but you're not telling us on the document how you used that skill and what was the impact or what was the purpose. So I would say it's a lot of content, a lot of tailoring, a lot of formatting.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for that.
Yeah.
And we
Yeah.
will take those notes and work on your resumes a little bit better.
Yeah, exactly.
What do you enjoy most about your work, and what do you find most challenging?
I love that I get to meet new people, because that is exactly why I got into this. I love that I can build relationships with people. I love celebrating the wins. Um, and I won't give up until you get a job. Like I am looking for public health jobs constantly. I really, really, really feel passionate about the public health workforce, and making sure that the folks that want to get into it and love it. And I love when I am working with someone and at the end of our session, they're like, I feel so much better, or I have this new confidence or this new energy around this. So, yeah, it's amazing. I tell everyone that I have the best job ever. I'm like, not to brag, but I do have the best job ever. And yeah, it was funny because recently I was meeting with an alum and I was like, you know what, you would be a really great career advisor. And I was telling her why, like what I saw in her. And that day she ended up applying for a career counseling job and got it. And I didn't even know. And she emailed me, a few weeks later, she's like, I would have never have applied for that job if you didn't bring that up. And I was like, oh my gosh, like that's crazy. So yeah, I don't know, making those connections, and if I see something in someone, I say it like, oh, you know what, you would love consulting, or you would love, whatever. I just say it and hope that it helps them. Ultimately, I love that I get to help public health professionals and build the public health workforce. Challenging is not everyone sees the value in career services in terms of, oh yeah, I have a resume, and I'm like, but it's a lot more than that. So I think what's challenging is just being able to make sure that everyone knows that this is a resource they have and can utilize it the way they want in their professional development. Because I feel so awful when I get someone that's like, I didn't even know you existed, or I wish I would have met with you a lot earlier, So I think what's challenging, and I think it's always going to be kind of a higher education challenge, is getting the word out there and getting people to utilize this service. We used to joke in higher ed, like, oh, if you provide pizza, they'll come. But that doesn't really work anymore.
That definitely was a motto during my time.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome. Well, I appreciate you sharing that. Past week's guest question to you is, what is one lesson you've learned from students or clients that has changed the way you approach your work?
That is so interesting. Okay, one lesson that I've learned from students that has changed the way I approach work. Let's see. I have learned that I've learned so many things. I feel like everything I have learned from students has shaped how I approach work. I can't name like one specific interaction, but I think in general, what I've learned from meeting with students is that work should help you live the life that you want, and it should help you in your life, like achieve your life goals too. You can't put everything into your job. You really need to make sure that your life comes first and that your career is a nice complement to that. And setting really good, healthy boundaries, I think, is important too. I have seen a lot of students along the way who either have really good, healthy boundaries and stand up for what they believe in and set those boundaries right away. And I just love that so much. I love confident people that ask for what they need and are not afraid to ask and get it, because your life is important and what you believe in is important. So yeah, I think I just ultimately, that has been, I think, the best lesson I've learned as how I help coach people going forward is like, gone are the days where it's like, we're living to work, no. I mean, work is great if you enjoy it and you're good at it and you love it, but it should ultimately help you live the life that you want.
Absolutely. You are more than just your job.
Yeah.
But you can still love your job.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so moving you on to the Furious Five, Katherine.
Okay.
So, number one, what advice would you give to a student trying to pursue a career in public health?
Just be open. Be open to all the different career paths. Identify what you like doing in terms of your day-to-day tasks and how you get things done. Don't focus on job titles. Start creating a company list, and talk to as many public health professionals as possible. Attend conferences. Get involved in public health.
If you were talking to someone wanting to get into your position, what advice would you give them?
Apply. Don't talk yourself out of applying. And if you really like working with people and helping them achieve their career goals, this is the perfect job for you.
Number three, what's something you are working on improving in your life right now?
Yeah, I've developed this new mindset of not trying to improve anything in my life, because I think sometimes we get caught up in the like, oh, what's the next thing I need to do better at, or what's the next thing I need to improve, or how can I keep living my best life or be my best self? I just want to live. And I think right now I'm just living my best self and accepting the failures, accepting the wins, and enjoying the process. So there's nothing really I want to improve. I mean, I think I always want to improve on the next, like AI right now is really interesting for me, and how you can incorporate that into your career development and your job search and applying for jobs, because gosh, if it can help speed up the process for folks and help them, understand what they're good at, whatever, like, great, let's use it. It's not going to go away, so how can we use it to help us as a tool in our careers? But improving,
Love it. Love it. Enough is enough and life is for living.
Yeah, exactly.
Number four, professionally, do you recommend anything?
Yes, of course. I recommend, one, reflecting on your achievements, owning what you're good at, taking the Strengths Finder if you have it. I really like the book, Designing Your Work Life, and the book, The Time in Between Dreams. I tend to listen to like murder mystery podcasts or like, something funny. So I actually don't listen to like career development podcasts. So I don't have any recommendations there. I mean, your podcast, I would definitely highly recommend. But in terms of all that other, I just don't, I don't think you're going to find a book or a resource that's going to give you all the answers. I think what's nice is it gives you ideas and it gives you time to think about stuff. But I think most importantly is just reflect on yourself occasionally, like take time throughout the year to really reflect on your career path and what you're enjoying and what you're not, and if there's changes you want to make, and not being afraid to make a change and ask for a raise or ask for what you need. We're here to make money. We're here to do our jobs. Like, if you need something to be successful, then ask for it.
And then last but not least, if there was one piece of advice you'd give to your younger self, what would it be?
I don't think you're going to like my answer, but nothing. I would not tell myself anything. There's nothing I could tell myself that would make a difference. And I don't want to change anything. I think going through the hard times and going through the trying different things out and not knowing what I wanted to do all helped me get where I'm at. So yeah, I wouldn't tell myself anything.
That is absolutely fair, and I do not mind that answer whatsoever. I think it's candid and it makes sense. Our journeys are our journeys.
Yeah. I like all the failures. I like all the challenges. I like all the wins. I mean, it builds who you are, and yeah, I think you have to kind of go through that.
Absolutely, ups and downs, the lefts, the rights. It's all parts of the journey.
Yep.
Well, Katherine, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your insights at this timely time, as well as learning more about your career journey and into your work in supporting people in public health. Thank you for your work.
Thank you so much.
Truly, truly is my pleasure. Housekeeping items, everyone. Thank you all so much for watching or listening to this. Be sure to subscribe if you have not as yet. Leave a like, a 5-star review, and share it with a friend who gets some value from it. Hope you all enjoyed, and see you all next week. Peace, everyone.